A lot about why the GOP made historic gains in the midterm elections. On November 2nd, the American people expressed outrage at exactly what they're seeing on display in Washington right now. Liberals eager to tax and spend, and Republicans all too willing to compromise with them. Now, the GOP gained 63 seats in Congress in the midterm elections, yet not one of these newly elected members have any say on this tax cut deal. Now, ironically, it's the lawmakers who were voted out of office for their behavior who are now finishing up their terms, who are now calling the shots right this minute. Well, two incoming GOP House members have a thing or two to say about all of that. South Carolina Congressman-elect Tim Scott and North Carolina Congresswoman-elect Renee Ellmers. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Good to be with you, Sean.
All right, Renee, you're not there. If you were, what would you do?
Well, I do not like this. I do not like this deal that has been worked out. A couple of days ago, as we all learned about it, it sounded like there was going to be some compromise made, but now we're finding out that the devils are in the details, and there's a little bit more that we're giving up than what we all ran on. I ran on cutting taxes, cutting spending, repealing the death tax, and these are all of the things that we have got to watch out for. I am not in favor of this.
Would you have gone for the original deal that the president outlined on?
Well, you know, when we were first talking about extending the marginal tax rate for all Americans so that no one's taxes were going to go up, and there was a discussion about extending the unemployment taxes for another 13 months with finding a way to pay for it in the federal government, I thought that that was a pretty reasonable compromise, and I was in favor of it.
So in other words,
now as time has gone by, we aren't paying for it. We're going to increase spending, and we're going to increase taxes. All
right, so now that they are larding it up with pork, which, you know, I mean, why am I not shocked? But let's say the original deal that Joe Biden said, you know, there's no changes, that this is take it or leave it. Tim Scott?
Yes. It's very difficult to look at the hypotheticals and come to a conclusion, but what we do know is what you said earlier today, and that is simply this, that the pork that the Democrats are adding to this bill is simply saying this to the American people. Business as usual is what we're going to continue to do until we're out of Congress. There is a reason why the American people voted the Republicans into leadership and voted the Democrats out. What we need is a straight-up vote on extending or the continuation of the current tax environment. That is how we get a pro-growth environment that leads to more jobs for the American people.
You know, and look, the blame lies with the Democrats. They did not have the courage before the election, which is when they should have done this so the American people would know where they stand on this. So here it is in this final hour. You know, we're just days away from this thing expiring. Congressman-elect Scott, are you content with the idea to let these expire? And when you come in on January 5th, then retroactively go back and just pass the tax cuts?
I think it's certainly in the American people's interest for us to continue the Bush tax cuts. But we should do it not just for 2 more years, but we should do it permanently. If these tax cuts are not extended before January the 5th, one of the first things that we should do as a Congress is to take it back up and say to the American people, we are listening. We want to extend the entire Bush tax cuts permanently for all classes of folks in income brackets, because we understand that the top brackets is how you create jobs. We have to have a pro-growth environment for this economy to recover. And if we're going to deal with the deficit long term, we're going to have growth in the private sector. The government cannot create jobs.
Tim, that's a great point. Renee, and just to add one little bit of emphasis to that, and I thought that Jim DeMint on this program last night said it very well, you know, how do businesses make decisions with a temporary economy?
Exactly. We can't work in a temporary economy, and this is the problem. Our small businesses have got to have all of these uncertainties removed. Until we do that, we're not going to see the growth that we need to see. The jobs, the private sector jobs, are created in the private sector. We've got to remove all of the uncertainties, including the possibility of tax increases. We've got to deal with Obamacare. We've got to repeal that. We've got to take all of those things off the table, including card check and cap and trade, and then our small businesses will be able to start hiring again.
Guys, we'll look forward to seeing you on January 5th. Appreciate you being with us.
Right.